Can you just kind of, was it just a roll? Like, what kind of happened there?
Man, I want to use the right term, but it wasn't in the moment. It didn't feel too good. But it was one of those things that happened, and I popped back up like, yeah, I'm straight. Played a few minutes after that, felt fine. Then they sent me to the back just to double check. We wanted to look at it. Had a doc look at it, and he just said a little day-to-day soreness. But outside of that, I personally feel fine. Wasn't bad news from docs, so day-to-day.
So, I mean, you feel like it was just a precautionary thing that if they needed something, you could.
Yeah, and, you know, Twitter already did its thing. Griff came to me and said, yeah, Twitter did their thing already. They're the doctor, apparently, but nah, I'm straight. Just going to follow the doctor's orders with just day-to-day.
How much is that? I mean, does that bother you? Or does it bother you that knowing how, because of everything that's happened, that how people are going to look at just a small thing like this?
I guess that takes me back to what I said in Media Day about my favorite album and with the album that changed my life, Ready to Die. I mean, you just learned that that's just how the world is. There's nothing I can do to change that. That's just how the world is, and I'm going to stick with people that care about me, stick with the team, and I'm going to work with them.
On the court, y'all did have some you at the 5 minutes tonight with just a bunch of shooters around you. How did you think those minutes went tonight?
I think those minutes went very well. I felt like I started off kind of slow. So when I came out and went back in, I said, I got to pick it up. I got to just play the game. Just simple as that. Got a couple assists, just finding my teammates that opened up the court for me, and I think those were some great minutes. Just got to work on defense. We just got to communicate better defensively, especially when playing against a team like the Heat, who they pay attention to every single detail.
Zion, last time we spoke was over All-Star break last year, and you mentioned that whenever you were healthy, that season was going to be scary hours. Leaving completely aside what happened tonight, because Twitter did its thing, how much do you want the season to start to really show people what you got?
Man, beyond excited just to get to the season so we can start like hooping for real where it actually counts. But my mindset has shifted a little bit since that comment. Before it was scary hours to prove the world wrong. Now it's to prove myself right.
And I wanted to ask you about your sneakers. You're playing this season in the Zion 2s. As somebody who's literally burst through shoes in the past, what is it that's so special about this shoe that maybe the first version didn't have? What was the thought process behind it? Talk us through a little bit the process of designing the Zion 2.
With the Zion 1, it was more so like action hero, just all the dynamic things that I do. With the Zion 2, it honed in on like my skill, my footwork, point Zion, and like it's a comfortable shoe. I can't lie to you. Like that's not me being biased. Like I would sit here and tell you if it wasn't. No, it's a very comfortable shoe, but it also allows me to move around and like a guard. So it's a lot that goes into the Zion too. I wish I had a paper to break down everything because there are small details that I don't want to leave out, but it's a lot that went into it.
Thank you.
Since we're talking shoes, can you tell us when the Voodoo Low is going to drop?
You know, everybody asks me that, and I personally don't have an answer, and I'm not lying. I don't know when they're coming out because I have family members like, yo, I need those low ones. I'm like, look, I'm going to try to get them to you, but I don't know when they come out. Like, I'm just as lost as y'all. Lucky for me, since it's my shoe, I have mine. So
You're chilling.
I'm chilling.
What was that process like? I mean, obviously you're involved with your one with the twos. What was it like being able to design a Jordan 1 shoe?
Man, it's one of those things that we started the design process like while I was out last year. So it was one of those things that in the moment it helped a lot for the mental. Just thinking, man, like I get to design my own like low one. They asked questions about things I cared about in the city of New Orleans the most, what kind of vibes and stuff like that. And somehow they took that and created that shoe. And I remember when they showed me the mock-up, I was like, that's a hit. It's just one of those things you just knew it was a hit.
The Bayou Boys line has some of the most creative packaging and like stuff outside of the shoe. How involved were you with all that stuff when it comes to creating the aura around, that goes beyond the shoe?
So Jordan Brand is very. They're so dope when it comes to that part of the process. They'll probably lay out like 10, 12 options, and I can like an option and then say, hey, I would like to add this, and they're going to make it happen. So that process is, I got to thank Jordan Brand for that. Like, we'll just have conversations that I won't even think that they're paying attention to, and they'll bring some kind of vision or one small comment I said, they'll bring it to life, and I'll just be sitting there in awe like, man. But mostly, I'm happy for the city of New Orleans and state of Louisiana because that's really who the shoe was for. Like the Bayou Boys, the Voodoo, that's all for the state of Louisiana, city of New Orleans.
Last question for you. When on the topic of the city of New Orleans, you've done a lot in this summer and in the off season, with the community, building up the city of New Orleans. What is it about the city that's so close to your heart, and what can we expect to see you in the future?
It's home. Anybody that knows me, I said it last year, even when people didn't think that I wanted to be in New Orleans for some reason. New Orleans is home. Like, I don't go anywhere. I don't really want to go anywhere during the offseason. Like, I stay in New Orleans for like the first couple months before I just go somewhere and lock myself away. But New Orleans is home. Like, it is. The community, especially since I started my camp, man, that was my favorite part of the summer. Yes, over the contract. Yes, over the, like, all the other things that happened. Like, even going to Paris and doing stuff with Jordan. That camp was my favorite part of the summer because that's how I grew up. So when I was able to interact with kids from environments similar to me, that's all I needed. That's all I needed. But I would have to let my campers know from time to time, look, I'm not these other adults. I'm not going to take it easy. If y'all try me, I'm going to say check up and we're going to settle this. But that camp was the best part of my summer.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.